Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, boy, I'll tell you, we got some big shoes to fill because I've been talking a lot of trash, man. I have been calling this thing the GTS killer. You see how much has gone out of the bottle. No, I did not do all of that damage by myself. I think it is so good that I have actually been sampling this thing out. The sad thing about it is it's a single barrel. It is from Drug City. Shout out to the people at Drug City, but I am not going to be able to replace this bottle because when I went back to get a backup, they had this one, which is 69.6 proof. Now, this one comes in at 68.6 proof. It was picked by or for the syndicate. It is a Drug City pick. So I'm not going to be able to get another one. So when it's gone, I am going to be a little sad. This one, it's just good. And I am going to release the review before I release this video because I think it's that good and I want you guys to experience the original thoughts I had when I first tried this bottle. But it is slightly better than this one. I just think this one is a little richer, comes in with deeper flavors. But we are here because Kevin called me out, man. Kevin was like, that is not, he said, because he was talking to Brad and Brad said, Myra said that that's a GTS beater. And Kevin said that to ask Myron, is it better than the 05 GTS he had when he was at my shop? Now, this is not the exact GTS I had at his shop. It's still the same GTS blend, but not the same bottle. He had a fresh bottle. He said, when I cracked that thing, he said, I am going to pour you a 2-ounce sample. So shout out to you, Kevin from S&W, man. I appreciate you looking out for me like this and calling me on my BS to see if I know what I'm talking about. But what he did say was, he was not expecting the flavors to come out of this bottle that came out of that bottle. He said he tried the 2-ounce sample that I gave him and he was like, wow. He was like, that's good. He said, I didn't expect it to be that good. He said, but it's no GTS beater. So shout out to my wife because she looked out for me. I had to go by there today, not just to pick up the sample, but to pick up a bottle of Discovery 11 that she bought for me for my birthday. So thank you, baby. I appreciate you for that because I've been eyeing that bottle. So, you know, to Mrs. Bourbon Drop, she know who she is. I love you. Thank you for everything you did for me for my birthday. Also, Kevin has a great price on the Discovery 11. So if you want to go on his website, check it out. If you're looking for a Discovery 11 and you don't want to pay $140, he has it for a great price. I know you see some other samples on the table. This is the Bull Run American 15-year American whiskey. So I am going to put this up against the RY3 one day, and then shout out to Dave. You know the Don, man. Shout out to Dave for that, and then shout out to Shane for giving me the 15-year Penelope American whiskey. So I can't wait to get those beside the 16, and I might even throw in that 16 too, even though I think that one is, you know, good, but not as good as this one right here. So let's get these things poured up. Now, you notice I don't have my signature wheel, and that is because the color on these two are so different. There's no way I'm going to be able to tear them, pick them apart, because this GTS it's darker. It's considerably darker, and I'll hold them up to the camera so you guys can see. There's no way I can do it. I mean, I can see that from back here. I'm pretty sure you guys can see it. I'm looking on camera right now. I can see it on camera. The one in my left hand is just considerably darker. So there's no way, no way at all I'd be able to pour these blind and not know which one is which, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get them on the table blind. So we are going to go A to B, and then we're going to go B to A. All right, so let's go into my 16-year. Now this thing, I'm already smelling it. The GTS, a little bit was coming out of the cap. Even though it was tight, it was leaking a little bit and it smelled amazing. This thing right here has a totally different profile on the nose. It has a cherry in the nose that I really enjoy. A few other notes too. Let's see if I can pull those out. Old, oaky. It's got that dusty fingernail polish remover that I talked about before. Some of the cherries coming out on the nose. Very woody, man. Very oaky and woody. Let's go into the GTS because this thing right here, oh my God. plums, dates, heavy vanilla. Yeah, concentrated vanilla and dates. Super sweet on the nose. Now, if I didn't say it already, this is the 2005 Lot B, coming in at 131.8 proof. So you're not going to get this thing anymore. If you do, you're going to pay a ton of money. So I can't thank Kevin enough, man. The first time I met Kevin, he gave me a sample of GTS, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this dude doesn't know me. He's like, hey, man, you know, you want a sample? I was like, say less. So anyway, let's get into the palate of the RY3. Oh my goodness. That is super concentrated caramel with the cherry on top, a drying oak, with a dash of char in the back. I've got to get the water because I've got to do this thing justice. I don't want to contaminate. Sometimes they can cross contaminate. They can affect each other. A little bit of a minty spice going on in the back now. While I let this palate clear up, I'll go into the story. So I'm at Kevin's store. This is where I met Gray too, so shout out to Gray. I go into Kevin's store. He's talking to another guy. We were talking about the Kentucky Spirit. His buddy was there. His buddy had some just like, you know, little minis that he had bought from an estate sale. So, you know, we were talking and, you know, the guy offered. So I was like, hey, yeah, I'll take it, you know. And then all of a sudden, Kevin whips out a bottle of 05 GTS, and he's like, he's got these little cups, and he's like, hey, would you like a pour? I was like, what? Are you really asking me that? So that's, you know, that was the start of our relationship. And, you know, I go there. Kevin's a good guy. You can go in the store, talk to him about anything. He'll talk to you forever while he's, you know, doing his business. So, like I said, just give S&W a check when you're in the Temple Hills area. All right, let's get into the GTS. Oh, that's rich. That's rich bourbon. That is rich bourbon. It has a very rich brown sugar. It's got a little bit of a savoriness going on. A little bit of like brown butter. I don't really see a lot of the dates transferring over from the nose. And like maple syrup. So I'll tell you what, I'm not going to clean again. I'm going to go back from B to A, and then we'll see, because they are both still very good, but in their own ways. So right now, you know, when you drink a bourbon, you're expecting a bourbon. When you drink a light whiskey, I had never had one before. I didn't know what to expect, and it completely blew me away. So let's go B to A. Oh, that nose is so nice. That nose is like a concentrated maple syrup, concentrated brown sugar. Not picking up the dates as much as I was originally. Still that very, very, very rich vanilla. For as rich as it is on the palate, and so well put together, I wouldn't say that it has the oiliest mouthfeel. It's not bad. I would say that's more of a medium mouthfeel. And I can't say that it's the water watering it down, because I talked a lot to try and get that to go away, and then I didn't drink another sip of water when I went back to it the second time. So I would have to say that the mouthfeel is on that medium level, but it's not drying at all. Very concentrated brown sugar and vanilla. All right, let me go into the light whiskey. Oh, that nose. That nose has turned into not just caramel now, but like honey and caramel just mixed together. I don't pick up as much of that fingernail polish remover note. Actually, it's not there at all anymore. All right, let's go into the palate. Mm. Mm. That it's they're both so good. They just offer different things. Like this is rich and dark and just hits you. This has that like it has like a butterscotch note in it. It almost has, and I said this in the other video, that mintiness. I said in the first video like a wet menthol cigarette, but it has a mintiness. It has a very nice cherry in it. But it comes across drying. I swear, man, I want to put him as a tie. I do, but I want to, let me go back real quick. All right, so A, light whiskey. Buttery, about the same mouthfeel. The mouthfeel might be just one notch down. Buttery, drying, that cherry. Oh man, I am loving that cherry. And it has like a rich caramel slash butterscotch slash almost like a salted caramel note. All right, GTS. I don't. I'm sorry, Kevin. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This thing comes in at 68.6 proof. This one is 131.8 proof. It made everything else that night taste like crap. So the fact that this GTS is still standing out is just killing me, because I was like, this is the GTS beater. Now it's kind of like I'm going back and forth. I'm loving the rich brown sugar, heavy vanilla, but I'm loving that caramel and cherry in this thing too. I'm going to give Kevin a 2-ounce sample and have him put them side by side and see which one he picks. Because at this point, the cherry is edging it out for me, man. Let me go back. That's such a rich, nice bourbon, though. Kevin, this was a tough one. I am not being biased. Kevin, you know me. I am going to give it to you honest. I've got to go with the RY3. I know that is saying a lot, but I've got to go with the RY3. This was a tough one. This is the shocker of the year for me. Kevin, you got to put these things side by side. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words. So look, RY3, 16-year light whiskey, syndicate pick, single barrel, came in #1 for me. The GTS, the 05 GTS was, I mean, you saw how much I had to go through to get this thing to pull ahead. In the end, the GTS fell off. It started to become flat after I came off the RY3 again, and then I went back to it, and then I went back, and that cherry note and that rich caramel, that brown butter just came out. So look, this is an excellent pour, but I got to give it to the RY3. And with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you head it to a drop. Till next time.